Morning, everyone. Let me just adjust that. Beautiful out here, and I'm glad you can join me. Love spending time by this river, and I truly enjoy being able to share it with all of you. The sun is rising off in the distance. It's just awesome. A quick visual descriptor: I have long brown hair, glasses, I'm wearing bracelets, pink shirt, coffee mug in hand. Behind me, we have the branches of draping trees, the river. We have the trees themselves on the other side. It's wonderful. And as I said, the sun is risen in the distance over there. So you're getting this wonderful light through the trees and then this wonderful light reflecting off the water and these beautiful shadows. There's birds overhead and squirrels and chipmunks running around. It's just awesome. Get yourself coffee, tea, whatever it may be, whatever gets your day going. I have my coffee, my cup of comfort. And I'm joining you on LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube via Restream. Absolutely wonderful software. Do consider using it if you're looking to get into live streaming. I need an extra sip of comfort. Justice. Now, when it comes to being a better artist, so many people that I find are focusing on the techniques and the work. And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's a wonderful way to move people forward, to improve our skills. You can join workshops, you can get in online, watch tutorials, buy art books, whatever your art is. There is a class out there that focuses on the technical skills for that, the meat of the profession, the hobby, the passion. But as many of you know, if you've watched these before, or as you're about to learn, if you've never joined before, what I consider becoming a better artist is more related to how you approach and how you expand what you do. So I'm going to stay right in that. I'm going to start often. Are you creating art? This can be greatly varied depending on the individual. You know, some people work every day. Some people work when they can fit it in. Others are doing it on the weekend, and sometimes you don't know when you're going to be able to paint or film or take pictures. In some ways, I think photographers might have a bit of an easier, because as long as you have something that can take pictures, it's your photography. But I might be entirely wrong on that. I know I love to take pictures. I am a photographer of sorts, so I'm taking pictures as often as I can. And I love to make video, and I'm a filmmaker, so I'm making videos as often as I can. I make a video pretty much every single day, or work on video editing or video work in some way every single day. But as a painter, uh, as a charcoal artist, I'm working less often. You know, maybe a couple of times a week, maybe once a week. Now, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. As many of you are already aware, we have to divide our time. between not only our passions, but our occupation, between getting online to promote ourselves. But look at how often you work. Depending on how often you're working, that's really going to affect one thing, and that's how quickly you're going to build a community, an audience, and potential buyers for your art. It's going to take consistency. So whatever you're actually doing, if that is what works for you, you have to stay on top of it, stay consistent. Even if it's just working once a week, you have to stay on top of that, be incredibly consistent, and keep at it. Now, the next thing with this consistency and how often you're working is you need a place to display that work. We live in this wonderful digital time. I mean, I'm coming to you right now on a live stream across multiple social media platforms, and that's another big part of what we're going to do. But you're going to not just want to focus on putting your work on social media, you're going to need to build a website, which of course brings us to the next big thing to becoming a better artist. You need a website. You can do it on WordPress. You can do it on Big Cartel. Big Cartel is what I use because it also allows me to sell directly from my website, and there's all the integrations built in. And I can sell my art prints, my originals, build other pages to direct people to my art workshops and my YouTube channels, things like that. But between how often do you work, working on your consistency, and then building a way to display your work, you know, you've already done so much to build yourself up as an artist. And these are things that I've talked about often before. They're no less important. In building ourselves, we really need to be building up our consistency and our platforms. Of course, building your own website is going to give you your personal platform, because whether it's Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or Twitter, LinkedIn, wherever you're putting your work up online, that space is not always going to be there. You know, posts can get taken down. Accounts can be shut down. Many things can happen, and we're also limited in the way we can display our work, whether it's through the number of characters we can put on or the subject matter we can display. Our websites will not have limitations, or at least not the same limitations. So it's well worth considering and well worth looking at. Past all of that, have you taken time to consider why you're creating your art, whatever your art is? And my definition of what an artist is very broad, and I think that's something more people should take into account. Because there are so many artists we're surrounded by, creating art in so many different mediums, digital and traditional and video, and so many. Morning over there on LinkedIn. So glad you can join me. Howdy, stranger. I like that. So there's so many different types of artists. So really it comes down to whether you're a journalist or a comic book creator. You're an artist, hands down. And if you live stream, you're an artist. So don't get hung up on that. But why are you creating your art? You know, art can be, and for many of us is, a business, because it's a way that not only do we generate income, but we're building ourselves up to a certain point. Why are you doing it? Why are you creating the things you create? Why are you making the things you make? So in building your consistency, your scheduling, and your visibility, your website, consider some sort of statement, some sort of why, something that you could write down, maybe in a few sentences, maybe in a paragraph, Maybe make it a video and put it on your website to explain why you're pursuing your passion, what it means to you, what personal place inside you it's from. So I have a statement which is on a lot of my social media and it's on my website, and that's creating art in shades of gray. Now, this has a lot less to do with the colors I use and a lot more to do with the ambiguousness of my art. In some of my films, well, a majority of my films are silent. There's music, but there's not dialogue. I want the film to speak for itself, and I want you to take what you see, the emotions, the actions, and to interpret them in your own way. And when I create abstract art, it's all incredibly interpretive. No matter what I was feeling at the time, you can look at it and you can see so many different things. And when I do my sketches of women, um, it's still very interpretive. And it's also working in a gray space between these concepts of what is or isn't our expectation. And when I write stories, my morality and the world itself is in a very gray place. There's not a hard black and white. So it's all over the place in what I do. I make art in shades of gray because things aren't always definable and they're not always a single concept. I like to sit right in that middle point where you can infer upon things: black, white, good, bad, positive, negative, justice, injustice, but so many more things: identity, concept, belief. And that's where I stay. That's my pocket. But you need to consider your pocket. You need to consider your why, your passion. Now, I just have one single sentence to sum up my passion. You can write as many as you need. You can write a whole essay about why. You give speeches on it. But if you want to improve as an artist, you most certainly need to consider why you're making art to begin with and what it means to you. I went off on a little bit of a slide there, but let's be fair. These are big and important details in our path, our career, our trajectory as creators. And content creators all across the internet, you are artists. You're artists with your websites, with your communities. So consider what you're doing and why. And I'm just going to emphasize this one more time. If you don't have a website, build one. You can build them for free on so many different places, or you can go to some like Wix. And then there's a couple other, their names just shot out of my head. And of course, Big Cartel, which is what I use. And then there's tons of other things that you could use to build your website. Build yourself a website. It's going to go a long way to helping build your community and everything else you do. Now, get yourself an extra cuppa because you deserve one. Coffee, tea, whatever it may be. You deserve that cuppa. So I need a little extra coffee. There we go. There we go. All right. And then speaking of websites, whoop, what just happened? Oh, let me fix that. Well, apparently it's not going to let me put anything in the chat. But there's going to be a link in the chat or the comments later after this video is done where you can visit my website and digital gallery. And not only can you get my art prints and my originals through there as they're released and as they're made available, you can also go ahead and you can find a page that will link you to my art workshops where you can sign up. And even more than that, there's another page where if you would like to become a subscriber to my website, you can do that for $5 a month. And if you do that, there's going to be some benefits. Number one, you're going to get to learn a whole bunch of stuff before it comes online. So that's one thing. And there's going to be other perks and benefits that you'll find out about if you want to do that. But you also get the benefit of becoming a supporter of independent art, independent film, independent books, these live streams, and so much more. Now, I am going to get out of here, though. So thank you for being here. Take care. Be excellent. And I will see you all again very soon. All right? Bye-bye, everybody.